Okay, we are going to talk about being content with your life's purpose. This one is difficult for me to even record and talk about because I'm currently struggling through this one. And so I feel like I have no examples. I have no authority to talk about this because this is not yet something that I've overcome. And now I can encourage you all because you'll figure it out. I'm right there with you trying to figure it out. But anyway, that's what this lesson is about. It's about figuring it out, and she gives four examples of other ladies and how they figured it out. And then at the end, it's like, go figure it out. So anyway, that's where we are. But it's nice because you need to figure out your purpose. What is your purpose? Find it and then be content in that. And we don't need to be so busy running our daily errands that we lose sight of the big picture, because we all know that you can be busy doing a bunch of good things and you lose sight of the big picture. But we have to figure out what is the big picture and then make sure all of our errands and things that we're busy doing, whether it's ministries at church, whether it's extra ministries at church, or the soccer club versus the dance party or dance program. I don't have girls. So whatever it is, but just making sure all the things all lines up with your big purpose. Everything is always pointing back to God, and it's always just a part of your purpose, okay? So the encouraging thing is that she starts with Ephesians 5. So it says, wherefore he saith in verse 14, awake thou that sleepest. Like, hey, come on. You don't just have to get saved and just wander around what you're supposed to be doing. No, wake up. I got something for you, okay? So thou sleepest, arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, just wandering about, okay? But as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. We all know that the time can get away from you. So making sure that with purpose, everything that we're doing, we're using our time wisely. Wherefore, be not unwise. But here it is. But understanding what the will of the Lord is. Okay? So you can know. You can know what it is. What is the next thing? Now, it doesn't promise you will know why. Why is this happening? Why did I meet this person? Why is this circumstance that I have to go through? Why do I have to learn this new thing? It doesn't say that part. It just says what. You can know what. What is the understanding? What is my direct next step? So if you learn like what is the purpose of my life, then you can make sure everything is falling in line. Okay, Lord, what is the next step? Please give me understanding. So like I said, so she gives four examples of different ladies and what they used. Okay, so Phyllis is the first one. So Phyllis used Philippians 3:10 as her life's verse and direction, okay? And at the very beginning, it says, that I may know him. Boom. That's everything she wanted, was to know Christ. Everything she would just keep reevaluating in every season to make sure that everything was still lining up, that I may know him. So you may have gone to college or have some type of career experience, but now you are stay-at-home mom. And you're thinking, like, why? I'm not a stay-at-home mom type. I'm a career woman. Okay, but maybe in this phase, God is not saying your career doesn't matter or that you'll never use it again. But right now, your stay-at-home mom phase of toddlers or of whatever you've got going on for this phase, and you'll come back to that. Or maybe you won't. Maybe when you were in school, that was what God had for you then, and this is what he has for you now. So either way, just kind of like constantly reevaluating as the chapters and seasons change to make sure, okay, that I may know him, that I may know him. That was it. And she wanted to be known as faithful and creatively obeying, which I personally really resonated with that one. Okay, just be faithful and creatively obey. that I may know him, that I may understand the will for my life at this point, at this season, in this country, in the next state, and all the things. But okay, just for right now, what is it? So that was what Phyllis did. That's person number one. Person number two is Jean, and she used Psalm 78. And her point was generational. Okay, so she wanted to know that my fathers, what they have heard, and then in verse 4, we will not hide them from their children, showing to them the generation to come the praises of the Lord. She wanted to make sure that her life always was reflecting that. Okay, so she was staying focused on that. She thought her self of life was a tree. She pictured that. So the tree was her relationship with Christ. Then the limbs were the different things that she had going on. Okay, so for her family, her church, her children, things like that. And then off of that were the branches and the shrubbery and all that stuff. So sometimes your tree can get so full that you can't even see the trunk anymore. Like, are you so busy doing all the things that you're losing sight of the fact from your relationship with God? So she would do it quarterly. She would review, okay, Lord, what did we just do well? What needs to be pruned and be more effective for the next season of life? Like literally all 4 seasons, she would do this quarterly, just to make sure that she was staying in focused, that she was leaving a legacy for the generation to come. That's what she felt like was her overall theme for her life and how she stayed on track with God. Okay, she used Psalm 61, and this was very specific as what she used, okay? So from the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good things to the meek, sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, opening to the prison of them that are bound, proclaiming what is acceptable to the Lord, to anoint them that mourn in Zion. I mean, it was just like super specific. So to me, this was a very sacrificial life. And maybe it's because I wasn't really absorbing how she was applying this Bible verse to life today. I didn't really resonate with this one. But some people, they need it super, super spelled out. And that is what this lady did. And then Mimi, she was back in Ephesians 14, where it all started. And her point was that she thought, okay, she envisioned it like this. There is a room of understanding. She walked into that and she was like, okay, Lord, you said I could have understanding. I got it. I met with the Lord and now I'm understanding what to do. Now the next room I have to walk through is the room of decision. Okay, so are you going to do it? Like, I gave you clarity, now that's the next step. And that's how faith works. And that's so a step all in itself. Like, first of all, do you have enough faith to ask God, to humble yourself and to be like, Lord, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm saved. I am thankful. I trust that you are the only way to heaven. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Okay, I got it. But then to realize that you need Christ between now and you're living your eternity is like, okay, Lord, I need you in my everyday. Okay, so what she did is she envisioned herself at 80 years old. And at 80 years old, looking back on her life, and which then at her current life at 80 years old, what woman would she be? How would she want to be able to describe herself? She wanted to be content. She wanted to be godly and wise. She thought, okay, if that's what I want to be said of me, I want my legacy to be that, like that is what I want to be overall in my life, then I better start applying that now. And she was 32. So now at 32, I can learn how to make wise decisions. I can have a godly character, disposition. I can even, just that can denote if I'm going to be a part of this activity or that activity. I can learn to be content, which is what we're learning about. So anyway, there's 4 people. Okay, so Phyllis, who is known to be faithful and creatively obey, Jean, who wanted the lasting legacy for her generations to come, seasonally always checking up on, like literally quarterly, okay, checking in to make sure that her tree trunk was still visible with the Lord. Nay, who was very, very stringent in how she obeyed God. And then Mimi just wanting to understood, okay, Lord, you will give me understanding, and then I'm going to decide to follow you. And I can decide now. I don't have to have that dream of what that lady would be. I can be becoming her every day. So those are those 4 things. So the challenge is for you to figure out your purpose. Find it. Do it well. Ask the Lord to show you a Bible verse that you can cling to, that you can have for your overall theme of your own life. Then all of your daily errands and activities need to make sure that they're always uplifting and supporting what God has for you. And then if they don't, that doesn't really fit under my umbrella anymore. Maybe we weren't going to include that one. Anyway, this is something I'm still currently working through, and I hope it challenges you as well. And feel free to comment, reach out, encourage me with how it's helping you and what you feel like your purpose is and your life verse.